Shadows of Agmar. My name is David Solari, and I'm Vice President of Codemasters Online Gaming. We created Codemasters Online Gaming about 2 years ago to really get Codemasters into the MMO and persistent online gaming world and market. And if there was ever an intellectual property that demanded to be turned into an online game, it's got to be Lord of the Rings. When I was a boy, when I first read the books many years ago, I read the books and thought they were fantastic. I used to play games on ZX Spectrum, the Dragon 32. One of the great games that I played back then was The Hobbit. It was an adventure game. Some of you may know it or may not. But very much enjoyed that. But I used to dream about the opportunity to go and really explore Tolkien's whole world and go wherever I wanted to go and really kind of experience the epic. Well, I'm glad to say, I'm thrilled to say that game is finally here. And everybody at Codemasters is extremely excited about the launch of the game on the 24th of April. We get a packed kind of morning for you guys today, which is great. A little bit later on, we're going to be taking you into a room next door where we have some computers set up. We'll be letting you kind of create a character and then take your first steps in Middle-earth and experience kind of what a new customer would experience in the game. Then we have a kind of a group experience. We're going to put you into two groups. And let you try and kind of complete that group experience. If you do complete it, we've got iPod shuffles for the victorious anybody who actually makes it there. And then finally, we're going to let you guys beat the crap out of each other in Monster Play, which should be a lot of fun. But firstly, we've got a really great introductory presentation. And to do that, I'd like to introduce Jeffrey Stiefel, who's the executive producer for Lord of the Rings Online. Jeffrey's obviously going to come and do his presentation. And he's going to be around here all day to answer questions for you guys. And if you want to talk to me, you need to talk to Erica Hutton over there. If you wave your hand, Erica, let everybody know who you are. If you've already spoken to Erica about interviews, just confirm with her, and so we can fix the times. That would be great. Well, so Jeffrey, great guy. He's obviously the man responsible for bringing this game to market, but also for making my childhood dreams come true. So without further ado, Jeffrey Stiefel, thank you.
Making your childhood dreams come true.
There you go.
That's frightening. So yeah, I'm Jeffrey Stiefel from Turbine in the US, and really excited to talk to you guys about the game today. We have a lot to do in a short amount of time, as David said. So I have a presentation. I'm going to talk you through some things, just so you have a sense of the game overall. And I may skip past some things. I know we're eager to get to chat with all of you, at least as many as we can. So I'm going to talk through that, show you a little bit of the game, just to give you a high level. And as David said, we're going to go in the next room and let you play, which is really the best way for you to experience the game. So let's see if this works. Modern technology here. It works. So as Dave said, and I too have sitting on my desk at work, the original editions of Tolkien, which I'm ashamed to admit I actually read when they came out. So for a very long time, this has been an evolving epic, right? This is something that everyone worldwide knows about. We all sat and read the books when we were little, or some of us when we were grown up, or both. And then the movies came out, and we all kind of sat together like you guys are now in the dark, kind of watching what's going on with this incredible place called Middle-earth. And then games started to come out where we could go one at a time into Middle-earth. But really, from my perspective, and from Turbine's perspective, and Codemasters, this is really where everything has been leading to, which is now Middle-earth exists. It's a place that anyone can go to and everyone can go to, and that we're all going to be going to together starting the 24th of April. So, the biggest fantasy of all time. This game is based on the fantasy that began just about every fantasy RPG that's existed since the beginning of time. And this is going to be the biggest MMO at launch from our perspective. Huge world, gigantic world of Middle-earth. Even the relatively small, by Middle-earth standards, world that we're launching with is gigantic. This is going to be a huge event in the industry, in the MMO space. And a huge scope. Large game, huge adventure, endless amounts of content, and we're going to start updating that content the minute we launch. In fact, my team is back in the US working on content for a month after launch right now. So something that Turbine's done in the past that we're going to definitely do with this game is make sure that this game evolves quickly and continuously. So this is not a product that launches and stays the way it is. So it's going to be huge. And we know we've built a AAA MMO, one of the greatest MMOs ever to hit the market. So this is a huge event. And we think it's going to be the biggest event in 2007, which is appropriate, as David said, for something as large as the Lord of the Rings. Interesting. So, I'll tell you a bunch of things you probably already know. One of the most read books in the history of mankind, in the top 3 books, up there with Jane Austen and the Bible. It's actually, I think, about 225 million copies of the book sold worldwide in 39 different languages. I think it's like $3.4 billion in box office sales at this point. And some things you may not know, $1 billion worth of merchandise, which means that this IP has been translated into all kinds of different types of medium and merchandising. And 14 million copies of the Lord of the Rings games sold for the single-player games, which tells you that there's a huge RPG audience out there for this particular IP, which is really exciting for us. We've been working on this game for 4 years. The demand's been growing. We have people in our communities, both in the US and UK, who've been looking at this game for all of that time and have been excited since the day we began. We've got well over 500,000. In fact, every time I give this presentation, I have to keep changing the number. I think it's about 530,000 worldwide signups for our beta right now. So this is a huge, huge audience worldwide already. Hugely active communities, both in North America and in UK and all throughout Europe. And we're in closed beta right now. And the Head Start, which is how we're going to be kicking off the game here in Europe, starts on the 14th of April. We're starting pre-orders. They already exist, downloaded in some places, but the in-store boxes are going to be available on the 24th of this month. And we have a pre-order program where for £99.99 or for 149 euros, you can have a lifetime subscription to Lord of the Rings. So if you pre-order, you're eligible for this program, one-time only program, where you can be a subscriber to Lord of the Rings Online for as long as it exists, which we hope is forever, for this one-time price. We'll never ask you for a subscription ever again. Or you can decide to pay only $5.99 a month, or €8.99, again, for the lifetime of the product. So we're doing this for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is a huge, huge property. We want this to be, as we said, the largest game in history. We think that this gives a lot of accessibility to lots of people, and we've got a lot of people who've been with us all through beta, and we basically want to say thank you to everyone who's helped us get this far by offering this. Head Start starts 10 days before launch. The character that you start working on that day, or all the characters you start working on that day, will be able to be rolled forward into beta. So once you start at the beginning of Head Start, all your effort, all your time that you invest is part of your experience going forward. It's also great because the community on launch day, on the 24th, is going to have a bunch of experienced players in it, selling things at auction, going different places in the world. And then we're going to launch worldwide April 24th. Very excited about it in the US, throughout Europe, and we're already localizing the game to a number of countries in Asia. So this is going to be the first ever global rollout of an MMO. And what I mean by that is certainly there are MMOs out there worldwide, but they have evolved into other countries. Generally what happens is you launch the game, see how it goes, and start to get it out into other territories. We're so confident with this game that we're launching it everywhere from the very beginning. And so far the response has been huge. Big world. You all know this map. Middle-earth is gigantic. We can spend the next decade exploring it or more, and we intend to. If you look at this area right here, area door, this is actually where we're starting our game. So, on the map, this is actually the area that we are launching with of Area Door, which includes places like the Shire and Bree, and of course Angmar, which is part of our big story, the Misty Mountains, and Ered Luin, where many of the dwarves are from. This is a huge area. I'll talk about this in a minute, but it's over 50 million square meters. It takes a long time to explore this amount of land. And with the content that we have in it, we think that there's going to be hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of gameplay at launch. And we're going to grow from there. So again, just to go back for a second, if we're just focused on that top left corner there, you can imagine how much room there is to grow for this game. Huge opportunity for an MMO. Really excited by that. We start with the first book. It's not 100% literally the first book, but basically we're trying to evolve the game the way the stories evolve. So we're spending our time in sort of pre-war Area Door, and then we'll start expanding beyond the Misty Mountains quite soon after launch. Like I said, 15 million square meters of land, which is a lot. And all of that area is very, very dense.